to like 10k, I just chuck it all on one team and then they all just
lose it all.
Go back to 0 again, like I think you did the other day.
I think mine was about 30 or 40k in SEA, but yeah.
So we head to Cafe Desire. We'll start on the defense. Carlton's Knights. Pirates, Pats. Oh, Pirates, Pats. Pats, Pirates. Vinny's Vandals. There's lots of different names. Either way, we head into this one. They are the favorite team, but I do expect to see Desire on the defense do well. Now, you actually played against Version in ranked last night. Now, I'm pretty sure you lost.
Well, let's just say that there was a player on the other team that had information that perhaps he shouldn't have, which made it a little bit more challenging. Not him, but someone else on the team. And he wasn't queued with them. I'll make that very, very clear. And then he actually was on our team for the next game, and I think we won. I can't even remember.
Did he carry?
Nah.
Oh.
You probably did. I don't know. We played a bit last night. You dogged the boys. You didn't enjoy it.
Me? I dogged the boys. I think Rob dogged the boys.
Well, you both did.
Maybe we both did. Either way, Ying, Ossa, banned out. Carlton's Knights will get rid of the first defensive operator. And it is going to be probably Valk and Azami, I imagine. No, Venry gets banned out here in the cafe.
Ooh. Okay.
So that means only one of Valk or Azami get banned out.
Or Mirror.
Or the Mirror. I feel like Mirror's probably third in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, some teams actually do quite like playing the Mirror on this particular map. I don't know if Carlton's Knights will, but I don't know. We'll see if it's even available.
Kate, you can see in his camera, he's all decked out with the war paint tonight. It is going to be the Azami. It does leave the Valkyrie and the Mirror available for this particular matchup. He's got the headband on and everything. He's going to war.
Yeah, jeez. And it's even in the colours of his team as well, the black and the blue.
The black and the blue.
Don't mind that from old mate Kaken, and big character in the interviews, so I'm sure we'll have a bit of a banger. If they're able to get this result across the line, they are starting out on the defense, so top floor will go. With that Solace in play, droning is pretty much impossible, so good luck to the attack and getting pre-placed drones. And with the Valkyrie available as well, you're going to be under threat from the Vert as well. So this is going to be pretty tricky for Carlton's Knights to try and dismantle, so we'll see how they go about doing it.
Fireplace and Reading is going to be the first site that we go to in the opening round of this cafe matchup. We head and get underway. Desire on the defense. I'm hoping and / expecting them to do well to begin with here. Obviously, Carlton's Knights the favourite team, but attacking into this is not going to be particularly easy on a map like Cafe, which still pretty much leans towards the defense, as it has for quite some time now. Curious to see, though, how Desire are going to set up defensively. Of course, they've got the Solace in play, as you mentioned. The Valkyrie to be utilised too does give them some extra information throughout the map, and it looks as if they will extend up above. Interesting Electric Lure as well. It gets both walls.
They're cooking. They're cooking some strats up here, Desire. I don't know if I said top floor during the selection phase, but I meant second floor. That's clearly where we are. So to kick things off here on this particular site, pretty bold from Desire, but I always like when the defense is willing to take a little bit of a risk in round one and maybe just catch the opponent off guard a little bit in terms of, you know, perhaps their preparations and expectations. I mean, in terms of operator picks, that's now irrelevant with repick, but we'll see how it plays out. Zethi, Nitro Cell ripped. So he's pre-ripped this so that anyone rappelling up has no sound cue. Whereas that Kaid, if they hear someone on the roof, they can throw that out. Unfortunately, no one has repelled there. Too much experience from Carlton's Knights to fall for that one.
Yeah, no, open hatch, and it's too easy. But it does, of course, now at least sort of take away that hatch, at least momentarily. They're going to be ultra careful. You can see Vinny just kind of circling it and being quite ultra careful. A lot of the times as well, these players on attack can just shoot it out as well if it's not thrown all that great and if they are aware. So it's a little obstacle to navigate, but ultimately they do. And Vinny can now actually send the drone down towards top red and make its way down. Carlton's Knights, they do have the Thatcher in play, guys, and an interesting little battle here actually, and it's going to be Version just towards bot stairs of white, and that gets the opening kill, and oh my god, I whiff, is what he says.
Yeah,
he didn't though, he got the kill, I don't know what he's on about.
Don't remember him doing that against us last night in ranked. If only he whiffed more, that may have helped.
It wasn't even a whiff. This is very critical of himself to find a kill, but still say he whiffed. Either way, humble. 5 versus 3, very humble. Yeah. It is Josh and Vincier that have both lost their lives very early here. And losing the IQ, not ideal, because it does play into the Valkyrie with those cameras. And Loyal, actually with a Nitrocell kill on to Pounce and Pat. And a great start for Desire here on Kaken's POV. Now we go through Cigar, and there is one there, but they are now dead. That was Campo. Worthy got at least one on to Bailey, but he's the last one alive, and he's getting pinched. One from behind, one from really the other side as well. Just sits in bar. and anticipates the push from Cigar. Doesn't, well, eventually do much except just die. Version gets the kill. That's a strange old round to begin with. Very nicely executed, though, on the defense by Desire. Really nice little setup. Met them head-on top floor, and did not even really give Carlton's Knights any kind of look in towards that second floor site.
Yeah, big fan of that little setup there from Desire. The things like the Kaid claws and stuff clearly pre-planned and practiced in scrims. And look, these are going to be difficult attacks. There's no real other way to picture it. I expect this to be a very defender-sided map. I don't think either team really has the greatest of structures when it comes to attack, and we've seen that so far throughout this particular stage. And yeah, with the likes of that Valkyrie being available, and yeah, dealing with that, it's not going to be fun. We'll see how top floor, though, plays out, though. It does open things up a little bit more, I feel, here for Carlton's Knights, depending on what kind of setup we'll see employed here from Desire. We could see something aggressive inside of shop, for instance, with the mute and the shotgun up close. And with the castle in play as well, over towards that double door into shop, that would suggest that they'll look to, you know, play on the forefront here. As the defense, if you can stall out that drop from red and that transition into shop for an extended period of time, it can really make things quite challenging for the attack. And I don't expect Carlton's Knights util dump and sync, you know, across the board to be, you know, top tier. So that might be the play we see employed. I don't know exactly where Kaken is, but I can see this for sure. That is very ambitious.
No spawn, though. So heavy emphasis towards red stairs at the moment from Desire. Saw the proximity alarm along with the Mozzie Pest as well used in that vicinity. Slow will probably be the pace for Carlton's Knights in this round, considering what we saw in that opening round. Bar Cocktail, though, does sort of lean itself into being able to play in a slower manner. Once again, Vincia bringing that IQ to try and maybe deal with some of this utility. No Valkyrie utilized this time around. Arguably not probably as needed for Bar Cocktail. A lot of the fighting and a lot of the posturing is probably going to come onto this roof for Carlton's Knight through the skylight, dealing with top red, eventually on the rappel as well, outside of the lounge. Now on top of the roof at the moment too is going to be Worthy. Puts down the Claymore. And that's going to be top red opened up.
So another Nitro. That one not doing all too much outside of just helping open the hatch here for the Knights. So we'll see how they go about looking to clear this out. Flores is in play, so we could see Campo utilize those Roteros. Probably looking at some kind of lurk threat as well here from the attack, and Josh will probably instigate that over towards bot white currently. And the defense gets distracted elsewhere. He can make his move up the stairs. Lounge not being extended into, but Kaken is in shop. I love playing this position with the shotgun up close, but it is challenging, especially if you get util dumped on you. There's the Wamai, so there is at least some catch available here for Desire, but I question how much will actually be available.
It does have a proximity alarm as well, at least if it's still there. Top red, Mozzie Pest was there too, so really sort of trying to fortify that top red and then hold it as well through shot with Kaken. Opens the hatch if he needs to get out, and I think he's just feeling the pressure, so drops out. Minute wasted anyway, and there's only 50 seconds left, so Kaken's been able to do his job. Maybe sensing Worthy on the rappel outside. No. Thought he was maybe going for a cheeky little run out to catch Worthy. Instead now he just holds the angle, the vert from mining down below. That's quite cheeky. Vincia those in, top red. So hasn't been spotted by Kaken and in towards shop. This might not be communicated to Desire, but there's only 30 seconds left, guys. So the attack is stalled out dramatically. 5 versus 5, Bar Cocktail, 20 seconds. Surely Desire will be able to find the shots needed, and they've got the vert established with Kaken below.
Well, it's been a slow build-up, but with 15 seconds on the clock, Carlton's Knights need to try and get in and get that diffuser on the ground. Vinny to head things, but the lowest rated player shut down. It's a 4v4, but the picks are going the way of the attack.
Versus
it's
down.
Kaken, Zethi, now just the one. It's Kaken who fell below to try and flank, but he's just too late. A little bit earlier, and he might have been able to deny. It's a nice shot onto Worthy, but with that kit on the ground, that's always going to go the way of the attack.
I don't think Kaken did anything wrong. It's just everyone on site couldn't really hit their shots. Been their ones. The battle in towards Freezer got one, and then that's it. The rest of it kind of just fell. Everyone inside a Cocktail basically just died without kind of any sort of answer. And that was just a bum rush, really, from Carlton's Knights. It wasn't anything too special. You saw Vincia try and take the fight on towards that Freezer position. He dies immediately. Bailey did well there, at least got one. But everyone else dies. And also towards the back here, like Zethy, they're planting. He's just sort of holding towards that white corridor. So no one was able to do a whole lot in that round, unfortunately, for Desire, despite the fact that the attack was stalled out. The shop extension was not that bad. Clearly worked. It blew a lot of time off the clock. But when it came to the onside execution, Carlton's Knights were just far better in the gunfights.
I tell you what, Kaken a fraction faster there on... I completely agree. It's not his fault they lost the round. If he's a fraction faster there, denies plant, there's 2 seconds on the clock. So it would have then been on Carlton's Knights to find that trade. May have been possible, would have been very, very close. But yeah, a little bit unfortunate. The players on site didn't offer enough resistance. And despite there being little time on the clock, I feel like it's the moments like that, right? 15 seconds to go. These players have their rough kind of roles sorted out. They just sort of switched into autopilot mode there. And you can see the experience in that team for that particular push. As you said, it's nothing crazy. It's nothing too special. They identified where they wanted to plant. Everyone kind of just fell in their position, won their one. And yeah, pretty clean from there. The flank watch, again, a little bit lackluster. But outside of that, not too shabby from the Knights.
Yeah, and the biggest thing in that last round as well, that Desire never really got on the front foot. It was all kind of just sit back side. I think it was a double stack cocktail and one in towards Freezer. These are positions you can't necessarily kind of swing out of and look to punish them if they're posturing towards shop, for example. There was no swing. Maybe Kaken did indeed have to be that little bit earlier to put some pressure from Red Stairs. But regardless, just wasn't able to get back in time. We move forward though into the third round. Lawyer with a fight in mining, wins it against Pat. So that gets rid of the ace, that gets rid of the hard breach in this round. No secondaries either. That's a big loss. So, you know, you're thinking about your bakery walls, for example, and that's diffuser outside bakery. That's probably first point of entry, now shut down for Carlton's Knights.
So the grenade then from Worthy. Drone in position. Do they have a read on the Warden? Do Carlton's Knights want to contest? The Gemini will look to confirm that. Version just looking to provide a bit of pressure there and not allow Worthy to jump in over towards VIP and unlock that side of the map.
Oh, Josh is going.
Oh, Zethy gave away his life, and yeah, Josh kicking into gear. 4 kills so far in this game.
Yeah, opens up Bakery, so they've got position in there. Again, can't open up the wall, so that will stay reinforced. Prep room does get eventually blocked off by the gas babe of Kaken, has 2 more in the back pocket. Minute 20. Remember, that diffuses Bakery side, so I think the push is still ideally going to come from this direction. I think then for Desire, they've really got to make sure that they just block down these entry points. The fact that there's no breach off the back of the E1D. Campo tries to just get more control in through prep area. That's going to be a secondary EMP thrown by Campo, followed by an actual nade as well. They've got to push forward. 55 seconds, little bit of time, close to sight. It's a swing though, nicely executed by Kaken. Sensing the pressure from Prep, does well, has a gas babe, and Loyal elsewhere finds a kill, but now Kaken loses his life. 2 versus 1, down to Worthy and Vincere against Bailey, inside of Coat. Does he have the Yokai that he wants to play off in a 1v2? I don't know if you really go for it with 30 seconds. That plant's going to go down. Doesn't deny. In fact, he doesn't see him at all. He was visible, but ever so barely. Vincere eventually gets the kill, and he spotted him. 2-1 lead for Carlton's Knights. 2 attacking rounds early on Cafe puts them in a good position.
Yeah, I think it's really just that autopilot mode really starting to kick in for this team. It looks like Josh has been put in these playmaking positions, making it work, and then the rest of that mid to back line is also chipping in. Decent impact as well so far felt from old mate Vinny, who's had it rough this stage, but good way to lock things out there and gets the plant stat as well. Good swing, double window from Kaken, who is trying his hardest. Unfortunately, though, the team just crumbled a little bit in this 3v2. Vinny allowed to go deep, plants in that awkward position for the retake. So we go back now to second floor. And to the credit of Desire, last time they went here, they looked really clean, and they bring that same sort of Kaid setup, the Solace Velt combo as well. So putting 1 and 1, putting 2 and 2 together, I assume that Desire are probably going to find some more success here and equal the scoreline.
Yeah, and they've just got to back themselves in to keep trying these things. We saw it, as you mentioned, successful last time out, very, very successful. And you've kind of got to keep just sort of backing that in to say, okay, well, we're going to maybe give up some rounds here or there. They're a good team. They've got some good fragging power and a lot of experience, but this is maybe not having to be necessarily a normal game of Cafe where it's going to be super defender-sided. It could very well end up being a little bit more 50-50. especially when you take into account that this is a map that probably hasn't been all that extensive in the map pool lately. Not a lot of teams have been playing it in this region. Zethy tries this once again with the Kaid. I wonder if he commits to it a bit more. Last time he fell off it rather early and understood that it wasn't going to work. Now this time, he maybe would look to play off the repel if he can get some sound cue. Nope, falls off. Doesn't waste too much time.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't work first time around. There's no harm in doing it again, provided you don't waste the nitro, so it's not the end of the world, but Vinny too smart. He's not going to repel near there anytime soon. Pat, meanwhile, did, but gets away with it, so that both roof hatches now dealt with. Carlton's Knights likely looking to posture themselves to go for lounge across, which makes sense. There was quite a bit of vert, though, inside of lounge, so that's something that they'll need to be mindful of. Lines of sight, nitro through the floor, but it's elsewhere. Worthy, he gets the first pick. Zethy has been finding life a little bit challenging.
Yeah, I think he just gets caught there from the balcony position. Did Worthy just sort of hop in, get a kill, and then hop back out? I think that might have been the case. Either way, he's died on sight. So has he really done anything wrong there? I'm not too sure. I think he's just gotten caught at a sort of impromptu time. Didn't quite get to catch it on the Alps. 90 seconds left. 5 versus 4 again. Really good start for Carlton's Knights. Now they can look to open up washrooms and backstore.
This is a real hard counter, though, from Nitro. So they're bringing the Thatcher that deals with that little Kaid setup down below. And Vinny as well has been tasked on the IQ to try and find these Valkyrie cameras. Now, I don't know
where'd the roof go?
How many he's been able to find as the roof has just been blown off by the thermite. No. Pants and Pat, though, finds the head of Versen. So that's pretty nice. 5v3. And it's actually far more systematic here from the attack. I think these counter picks are providing quite a bit of value, and Desire haven't been able to re-aggress in this round.
Yeah, and you're noticing Knights, so much work is coming from outside. The amount of rotating. There's so many different entry points that they're trying to kind of deal with Desire, and that kind of just strangulates you because you can't really move around the map. Nowhere feels safe. That kind of locks you down, and then it makes it very difficult to sort of feel like you can be aggressive yourself. And as soon as you try to be, there's multiple attackers that are around that area. You're not going to get away. 4 versus 2. Knights just have the numbers everywhere. So Loyal over towards Train. Kaken just towards mid-white stairs. And the yellow ping has gone out, so information at least for Kaken. Next kill, absolutely important. Oh, it goes prone. Josh is absolutely on for that. Wow, never mind. Josh had the read, but it's Loyal that got the headshot. 3 versus 2, but now it's a retake. 1 towards Pillar. Loyal spots him. That's info on 1. Gas babe from Kaken to try and push them off the diffuser. But the battle towards Pillars is won by Worthy. 3 versus 1 for Kaken. He knows exactly where one player is. That was Worthy. And despite the knowledge of his location, he still can't deal with him. 3 attacking rounds for Vinny's Vandals, Pat's Pirates, for Carlton's Knights. They take a commanding lead here on Cafe.
You said that with such conviction, such a straight and stoic face, Jake.
Worthy's Warriors.
What's the last one then?
Josh's J Money's.
Well, they did used to play together. Josh's Jaguars.
Oh.
Is that fierce enough? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like that. Brings in that sort of animalistic instinct.
Well, I feel like they've been playing with that instinct throughout this game, right?
Campo's cats. No, that doesn't work.
Nah, it's not quite as fierce. I think a Jaguar is a bit scarier.
Probably.
I'd rather get chased by a cat than a Jaguar.
So 3-1 on the scoreboard now. And as much as we want to kind of spin it, right? Like, if you can get 3 attacking rounds on Cafe, you've typically done well in the half.
I think into this lineup especially, right, too. So.
Desire with some work to do. And of course, have they even taken their tactical time out yet, actually? No. No. So, opting not to. 2 rounds to go in the half, which is my personal opinion. I think that the best time to do it probably is at the conclusion of round 4. If you've had a bit of a rough go at things, if you really want to close the half out, take that time out, talk about some things, how you want to close it out. Because a 3-3 scoreline suddenly doesn't look all that bad. 1 round here or there on either side. You can sort of make that up in the second half. So a bit of work to do. They block off this shop extension once again here for Bar Cocktail.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar here from the defense. The only major change is Zethy jumps across onto Jaeger, so in exchange for the Wamai. And you can prep those ADS devices on that red door. So expect Kaken to pretty much play for his life again here inside of shop. Much like last time, he could also opt to fall off rather quickly. This double castle barricade into shop will be dealt with. It requires 2 charges as there was a laser gate on that particular doorway. Cake and preps a nitro. They've been trying the waters, they've been testing the waters Desire, but unfortunately it's still yet to yield a result.
Too much focus on that so far in this first half. Way too much focus on it. And Carlton's Knights are far too experienced to be worrying about that. And they're playing around it perfectly, not wasting too much time, not feeling as if suddenly they can't play top red. We've seen them play it pretty much the whole half, despite presence shown by Desire. Obviously, Kaken now has used his Nitro Cell, which I think if you're playing that shot position, you want it for as long as possible. That could be the difference. Sees and feels the pressure, knows there's one on the rappel. Campo, acute angle here. Shoots early, expecting maybe shoulder peeks from Kaken. Well, it was kind of like a knee peek. And he cops a bullet to the knee. And yeah, just completely overwhelmed. So as soon as those shots go out towards the window, that's drop time. Really, really well played from Carlton's Knights. They know that the player in shop is too focused towards that lounge position. That allows the drop, that allows the double swing. They overwhelm it. They've got top red, they've got shop, they've got everything.
Zethi might be the player to turn the tide if he is able to make a play, but he's forced back. Ooh, he still gets one though. And able to reposition the skylight position from Campo, a little bit delayed. The nade won't achieve much either. So 50 seconds on the clock, and I was going to say perhaps still some danger for the attack, but it's a 4 versus 1 here in round 5. Zethi, this would be one hell of a play if he can make it work, but Campo's already deep. It's a free kill. Carlton's Knights, they're turning it up.
So tactical called with 1 round to go in the half. Little bit strange.
Better late than never, though. I feel like they need to win this next round, so you have to take it now. There's no other opportunity.
Better late than never, for sure, but it is late, and that's already a factor. Really well played from Carlton's Knights. I mean, realistically, if you try and talk about like what Desire is doing in that round, or at least what they're sort of attempting to do with this cigar shop extension, it's all about time delay. But how much time are they really delaying with that setup? Not a lot. There's no kind of real pixel pressure. We're not seeing the washroom player look to try to swing. No one's essentially helping Kaken. There's no vert down below mining or train. There's no one looking for run-outs. There's really nothing happening. He's just left on an island. And as soon as he tries to put pressure on the player on the rappel, bam, double drop. Immediately. As soon as those shots go out, and then he just gets double swung, what can he do?
Yeah. I feel like probably that's been one of the big takeaways from this match is Kaken has had a lot on his plate and he's just not probably receiving as much support as he would be expecting and probably as much as he's received in the past on some of his other rosters, right? It's important to remember that Kaken basically jumped in last minute and he's trying to probably conform the team around his sort of ideas and play styles. And yeah, to the credit of Carlton's Knights, they're applying pressure to the right players at the right times in the right positions, and the rest of the defense has kind of crumbled apart.
The thing about Carlton's Knights, right, when you've got a bunch of players that have been basically playing for so long now, a lot of them are very familiar with sort of the same ideas and sentiments that they've kind of played with over the last 2, 3, 4 years, 5 even some. So they all are a little bit more on the same page, if you will, right? Despite being a band of washed players, they all kind of are singing the same tune. But for Desire, Kaken comes in last second. It's already a team that's quite new to the scene as it is anyway for a lot of the players. I believe some of them have come over from like console or something, right? So the same page sentiment probably doesn't apply to them as much as it maybe does for Carlton's Knights. And I think you saw it there in that last round. Kaken trying to play that shop extension, no real help. And then eventually that gets punished. 4-1, 4 attacking rounds here on Cafe. Desire try one more time towards service and cooking for the closeout in this half. Desperately in search of their second round win going into the second half. Gridlock does get brought by Vincia. And if you recall last time we saw this site, they lost Pat immediately. So they lost the only hard breach. So he'll have to be very careful that he doesn't die again. They still managed without him, but had no way of dealing with that bakery wall.
So an early burn from Vinny, that's to facilitate the Salmas on that single wall to flush out Cupcake. So immediately Zethi's going to be under a little bit of pressure.
He's got to rotate though, so they've left it open.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's a time waste, but much like shop upstairs, right, you need to be actually draining that time economy. Oh.
So, yeah, that was a bit weird from Worthy. He just gets shot basically through the prep wall. Lots of, oh, Josh, yeah, he saw him, but last second, and just as he kind of changed his mind and wanted to move off that location, get through to Loyal, coming down from Pillars, 3 versus 2, Knights in a commanding position. Player on site, that was Bailey. Yes, he got the kill, but Vinny was already on the same page as Josh and pushing towards site, and Campo with an acute angle gets the final kill. Another beatdown. The tactical timeout is not able to help Desire in any way, shape, or form. It's a 5-1 devastating half. Carlton's Knights marching towards a commanding win. And while week 1 of the Oceania League was a new dawn, a new horizon, and new results, week 2 is turning into old habits from stage 1.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it much better myself. I think in that first half, Desire had a couple of decent ideas. That second floor defense was actually quite nice, but you know, the third floor with the shop extension, we saw it there, basement with bakery as well. That kind of setup needs to be pretty much perfect against a team like Carlton's Knights who have played that and scrimmed into that a million times. And yeah, it just fundamentally was not quite there. And a couple of players, unfortunately as well for the defense, probably getting a bit unlucky with timing. So that's the way it stands heading into the second half. Carlton's Knights, a 5-1 lead. And again, I've anticipated this to be actually quite defend-decided. So this should be, you know, a relatively smooth run home.
So they're going to do the same extension. They're going to do the shop extension, but they've already brought some little differences. The Warden, so it can deal with a lot more utility, brings a deployable shield, so they've got the pixel position actually more fortified, and they've got the Razor Blooms too. So that can actually help with a little bit of that drop down towards top red if they do put them there from Vince here. More importantly, they got 2 deployable shields as well with this lineup. So they're actually doing the shop extension, but it's not as if like Lounge is suddenly this like open space that's easy to take.
Yeah.
I think this might also look to be relatively defended. So suddenly the player in shop doesn't have to worry as much about Lounge in the Repel game as they do more so with top red and the new bulk.
Tell you what, mate, not a bad read from you. Not a bad read at all. I don't know what to talk about now. Well, we'll see how Desire go about dealing with it because, you know, it's not impossible. And we're actually going to see a double lurk from down below top red. That means that they don't need to drop the hatch. And in fact, Bailey might be able to even dislodge the Warden with Vert from down below. That could be pretty intriguing to see play out. Don't know exactly where Campo is playing currently, but he'll need to be careful. Josh as well, lurking bot floor. So there's a lot of moving parts to this round. Keeping track of them all is going to be very, very challenging. So good luck, Sky.
So one Logic Bomb already used, one more. And that next one's going to be so important for Zethi. Probably not so much for Zethi himself, but probably for his teammates. Josh now lurks towards moving up red stairs. And there is that Logic Bomb. So the timing of it, maybe anticipating some might be around his location. Bailey over towards red.
On drone.
And yeah, he's not aware, but Josh is not going to spot him either. So Bailey and Josh pretty close by to each other, but other side of the wall. And because he was on the drone, he wouldn't have heard Josh close by.
I think Kaken saw Josh though. I'm pretty sure he fired shots, and I thought Bailey responded. Perhaps not. Anyway,
Oh.
we'll think about that a little bit later because Josh continues to be a threat elsewhere. Don't know how much Desire's been able to achieve. We'll go back to this gunfight now. Josh, Bailey is unaware. He certainly has no idea that there's a player there, even if there's a drone to maybe support. Josh, good for one. Bailey trying to dislodge that vert up through Cocktail. It's Carlton's Knights, though, to get the first pick. Loyal.
Oh, he's going to think he's gone up white.
Yep, probably.
So he has to clear this. 50 seconds. I think he's anticipating there's a chance. But if there's any kind of presence shown from white stairs, Josh gets a free kill here from Laundry. Yeah, sees the tip of the barrel. There's no way you're going to win this against Josh. Really well played. Sticks it around. Plays that lurk roll perfectly. 4 versus 2 now. Pat with the shotgun. How many times have we said that before? Then pulls out the SMG-11. Zethi on the rappel outside, and he gets done by Pounce and Pat, who quite literally pounces outside for the final kill. 3 in quick succession. And this one is another beatdown. We might need that thesaurus from James Devmata once again for new words. Match point, 6-1. This is a devastating attack from Carlton's Knights.
Yeah, it's funny, right? How just a couple of different moving parts to the defense can have such a big impact. There was a lot of attention down below from us, and rightly so, as Josh was able to get 2 picks. I didn't mind the little idea Desire were kind of cooking up there to dislodge maybe Cocktail and unlock that half of the map, but Yeah, it also then meant that Pat was on his own. He gets 2, then plus the jump out as well for 3. So, yeah, Carlton's Knights, they're in familiar territory. These guys have played, I don't know how many officials on this map.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Not hundreds, probably maybe hundreds of scrims at this point. I don't know, but yeah, they just look so cozy. And Desire, unfortunately, then it's not quite up to that level yet.
I'd love to, because I mean, it's not like I took a picture of the map veto or anything, but to sort of go back and dissect it, because I think this game probably more pertains to the map veto. If I'm Desire, or at least I'm part of the roster, and I'm thinking, we've got to take on Carlton's Knights, where should we go? Cafe should be like the last map that I would be wanting to take these guys, because as you said, this has just been around for so long. I would be aiming for Labs. I'd be even aiming for like Consulate, which has obviously not been in the map pool for so long now.
You're not going to get either of them though.
But you're not. But I'd still, at the very least, be aiming for some kind of map that these guys maybe won't be as proficient on. Cafe is bread and butter. Doesn't matter what team you've played on, you understand how to play it. And these guys have played at the very highest of levels in this region for so long. And we've seen it firsthand in this game on this map, both on attack and now also on defense. They look comfortable. This is probably the most comfortable, despite even beating Bliss last week, that I've seen from Carlton's Knights.
Yeah, totally agree. Bliss brought some really interesting ideas into that bank game, which Carlton's Knights did struggle at times to deal with, but on this occasion, it's been a little bit more straightforward. It's been much easier for Carlton's Knights to read into and formulate quick ideas to counter. Vinny inside of Bakery. It's been a rough stage for him, but a good map so far, 4-3.
The Ram, the Grim. I don't mind the Grim here, actually, because he can bounce it in and try and clear out Vinny's position. And he's going to probably get stuck here. He's got to at least find one, almost doesn't. At that point, you've got to blow up that canister. Does get the headshot anyway. Doesn't fall back immediately. The push in a little bit awry. That was certainly probably more Whiff City from Version, but he got the kill anyway. Campo loses his life to Cake, and suddenly things have just opened up for Bakery. So canister gets blown up by Josh to delay. And there is that Hive launcher utilized.
Yeah, don't mind that. I mean, typically you would actually use the Nomad air jab there, but on this occasion, don't mind that too much from Zethy. Just zones out that position for a little while longer. There is still a bit of util stalling out the push into Bakery. You can see that Vulcan canister, of course, lasts for 20 seconds. So there'll be a slowdown in the action here. Josh has a really good angle, though.
Oh, you can understand what he was trying to do there. Just couldn't quite execute it. Pat, well, Version and Bailey are both very low. They're being peppered on their push-in. Josh wants to get a little bit cheeky here, and he will with the swing. No air jab.
Oh!
Those bees don't stay up forever. And he's the one now stinging in the backside. 3 versus 1. Unfortunately for Bailey, this game is now done.
Or is it? Pat takes a hit of damage. Josh, the only one left standing alongside him. Worthy is down, so with 50 seconds, Bailey might be able to cook something up, but no flashes and hardly any health points.
He could just swing again if he wants to, but it's a 2 versus 1 as Worthy's actually down. Oh, on the floor though, Pat shakes his head and says, that's not good enough. What was that game from them? 7-1. Demolition derby from the Carlton's Knights. Woo! Wait, what? Oh. Whoa, let's cut away to that. I actually didn't even see what happened.
Don't worry, it was nothing that interesting.
Hopefully no one else saw what it was if it wasn't that interesting. 7-1. Either way, Josh, 12-4.